everybody. I'm TK. This is TK and Drinks, and welcome to Inside the Mead Maker Studio, where we explore mead making, get to know mead makers from around the world, and catch the buzz on some of the best meads around. So cheers and thanks for being here. Tonight, we are going to be speaking with a couple award-winning mead makers from some commercial meaderies around the country. Hopefully, we'll be talking to the cats down at Drinking Horn Meadery in sorry, it's got a funny message in. I'll be talking with the cats from Drinking Horn Meadery in Flagstaff, Arizona, and hopefully we'll be talking to the cats from Monks Meadery in Atlanta. I did get to visit Monks Meadery when I was on it looks like Justin just joined in there, and there's the Drinking Horn, so let me get and there's Texas Longhouse Mead. We're having a guest. There's Texas Longhouse, and there's Justin. Let's see what happens here. So like I was saying, I did have the pleasure of stopping by Monks Meadery back in January and got to, looks like somebody's trying to be connected here. Hey, Drinking Horn's here, Justin's here, and it looks like we're having another one of those days when TK is not able to see anybody who's connected.
Oh, no. That might be a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we ain't that pretty.
All right, so Evan and Nick are here. I can hear that. And then it sounds like Justin, are you here as well?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I cannot see. Oh, there was somebody who just came in. So somebody is on board here. And there's my buddy Carlos.
Nice.
Yes, and Carlos is here guest hosting with me because he always has phenomenal questions for mead makers, especially those of award-winning status. So thank you all for joining me today, or joining us today being here. One of the things that always comes up when I'm talking to people, and either in person or online or whatever, is either whether it's new mead drinkers or established mead drinkers and whatnot. Everybody always ends up saying, man, mead I like it, but it's always so sweet. It's always, this, that, or the other thing. And I always try to tell them, like, there are some phenomenal mead makers out there that make some great meads that are dry. And lo and behold, Mazer Cup comes along, and we have almost a sweep of the dry categories by 2 meaderies. So, I mean, like I said, here's Drinking Horn. We got Nick and Evan here with us, and then Justin from Monks Meadery in Atlanta. So go ahead, Justin, if you give yourself a little introduction, and we'll get on with the interviews.
Well, I am the owner and the mead maker for Monks Meadery in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been making mead since 2000. This past year has been great with some good awards across the board, and this was super fun, right? Like,
oh yeah,
mead, I feel like, is finally catching its stride.
Absolutely. All right, then go ahead, Evan and Nick, introduce yourselves and let us know a little bit about the Drinking Horn up there in Flagstaff.
This is Nick Irvin, and that's Evan Anderson. And we're a Drinking Horn Meadery out of Flagstaff, Arizona. Nick is the ambassador of Buzz. My wife and I are the owners. We do things and stuff. Neither one of us brew anymore, but definitely like keep our fingers, metaphorically, of course, in the fermenter.
Sure. Yeah, I imagine running a business doesn't always afford you the time to get into the brew lab, so to speak.
No, not as much as we wish we would.
Right. And then Carlos, go ahead and introduce yourself as well, please. Not that you need any introduction.
Carlos, I am Texas Longhouse Meadery. I'm in the process of opening my meadery. The building's actually going up today, or it started yesterday. It's a metal building, so it's pretty much halfway done. And then once that's done, electrical work goes in, and everything starts moving in.
Nice. Heck yeah.
Right. Yes. Then the real bills start to come in.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, like I said, I wanted to focus on an episode on dry meads because, again, there's a lot of people out there that just have this preconceived notion that meads are nothing but sweet berry bombs and have to have this like IHOP pancake syrup texture quality to them for them to be like sought after and delicious and award winning and all these things. Excuse me. And that's most definitely not the case. I've had meads from both of these mead makers, actually all three of these cats here, and they all make some phenomenal dry meads. And awards are a great way, especially on international competitions, to, to show that I'm not just being biased. Look, there's other people out there that like these guys' stuff too. So, um, Drinking Horn, you guys took a gold for your dry metheglin. Now, we always kind of joked around that they called it the meth down there, but that is a serious product. That metheglin you guys make is really like a unique one-off that I haven't really had from many other people. Wouldn't you guys tell us a bit about it, how it came to be, and any other awards this might have won?
Yeah, so this mead is a little bit, so we like to joke around and say we want to make meth a family tradition. And
That's what it
because it comes from a family tradition, actually. Evan's wife, Kelly, her and her brother, who's actually our head mead maker here, this is a total family business here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just adopted, but I'll take it.
My brother from another mother.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So they their family always had around the holidays this drink, this tea drink, that would be on the stove and you could smell it throughout the house. It was a Russian tea.
Yeah, that's what they called it. Yeah.
Called it Russian tea. And so Charlie, our head brewer, wanted to kind of emulate that in a mead.
Oh,
And
nice.
so formulated the recipe for this one. It is black tea, cinnamon, and orange peel. And
Okay.
it is, that was way back, well, not way back, that was back in spring of 2020, just before the lockdown.
Yeah.
We made and released this one. And it's very aromatic, very big on those flavors. One of the meads that has, I think, the biggest hit of those flavors that we make.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah. So it was comes from a kind of a family old recipe, not the mead
Nice.
part, but turned into a mead.
Oh, very cool. And also just let me know if
think
anybody has
that's
any questions.
absolutely-
I would say any questions or comments, please jump in. So Justin, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's absolutely my inspiration, right? Like trying to find fun cocktails or fun smoothies or tea, right? Like that
Mhm.
is absolutely my inspiration for how do I pair flavors together. And so
Right.
hearing what you just described, because Medlethin or whatever how you ever say that, it is, I do one that's inspired by a friend of mine who's Mexican and does a hibiscus tea, and she
Mhm.
serves this at all the different parties as a non-alcoholic drink, and I was like, I'm gonna make that alcoholic. and we've won so many awards with this, and
Yeah.
I was a little bummed that we didn't place in that particular category because I think I entered it, but I can't remember. And so anyway, I
Yeah.
love your story. I think it sounds great.
Well, that just yeah. You did take gold for the dry traditional category with Monks Mead, so I think that's that's the hardest style to pull off. That's what I mean. I think most mead makers would agree that dry traditionals are one of the hardest styles to pull off. So to take gold in that, I think you did a pretty damn good job there, Justin. I've had the Monks Mead. That's a delicious product.
So we have tweaked that recipe a little bit,
Hmm.
and only in that the finishing honey, the source is now Georgia only.
Okay.
So it's still all wildflower, and then the finishing is a Georgia wildflower.
Gotcha.
And we've been super pumped with how that's turned out. So we submitted to National Honey Boards, we got a silver. We submitted to the Valkyrie Cup, and we got a silver.
Nice.
And then we sent it in here, and we got a gold. So I feel like our minor tweaks to that. Granted, like we submitted it in 2019, we got a gold at Mazer, and we submitted it, I don't remember, a couple other places, and we picked up some medals there. However,
Gotcha.
this is the Mazer Cup is what I think of as like the World Series or the Super Bowl of mead competitions, right? And so I've entered all these different things, and I do not enter wine competitions. Like it has to be mead specific,
Right.
because otherwise I feel like we're lumped in, and it's like judging like F-150s next to Ferraris. Which one's better, right? Like I don't
Right.
know. What are we judging
Right. It's all
from?
purpose driven.
Yep. And so I do not enter a lot of competitions. The Mazer Cup for sure to me is like the creme de la creme. And so this year getting as many awards as we did really felt amazing. Like I felt like our program has really progressed, and getting a little confirmation is always feels good. Yeah, as
Definitely.
I'm sure feels, you know.
Sure. And what about you, Carlos? Are you gearing up for some competition against guys like these? I mean, because you're no longer allowed to compete in the amateur categories. I mean, you're gonna have some stiff competition here.
You know, I love dry mead. I love a good dry mead. You know, when you and your family came down, of course, you've had pretty much almost every mead I've ever made. I like mine dry to semi-sweet.
Yeah.
I do have a couple that are sweet, but you know, I won several awards between Orpheus. What are the other ones?
Texas Mead Cup.
Texas Mead Cup. That one was with a off-dried chocolate boucher.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, of course, and I have my piments that are my red piments that are dry that everybody seems to really love. So I think I got a good chance. You know, I've had mead from Monks Mead. I've had mead from Drinking Horn, and yeah, competition is definitely stiff, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
There. I love that. And you know what? And you shouldn't even be here if you're not going to say exactly what you're saying. You're saying, yeah, their stuff's good, but my stuff's good too. And if you don't come in with that level of confidence, I think you'd be in the wrong place. So I admire you for that. One of the reasons why I always like having you on. You bring a level of groundedness to it, and always have a nice perspective like that. So, Evan, you guys typically are known for more of a dry style, but then you guys come out and take a gold with your unicorn blood in the semi-sweet mellow melt category. What inspired that one? I'm loving the new line of like the dragons and the whole new everything. So it's good to see that you guys are getting some shine there as well.
Yeah, branching out a little bit for sure. We're starting to learn to put fanciful names on our meats. We're getting there. We're getting there. But this one actually came out of Nicholas Perez, who's one of our brewers. And this was something he had been homebrewing at home for a little bit and brought it to us. And we kind of tested it out on a small run, doing we had our a Experiment series that we were doing at the mead hall for a while.
Yeah.
Where the brewers would make up like a 5-gallon just of like whatever kind of crazy off the wall thing they wanted to do. I made a banana runts. It was not well received. And so this was the one that Perez came up with. And it's people have loved it just pretty much since day one. You know, we've never had to go and we usually we restock a new mead on Thursday for our retail space. And we had to go restock on Saturday.
Hey, that's nice.
But it's a raspberry lemon. You can see the work on there, kind of.
Yeah.
It's got like a Celtic dragon. It's like a Celtic knot done in a dragon. Celtic knot done in a unicorn. And
Gotcha.
And it says right on the back that no unicorns were harmed in the making of this mead. So
always good morning to
clarify.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, this one. This first medal winner. Our first competition we entered actually was the Valkyries, and we entered this guy or this girl in it, and came back with a gold. So we were like, oh, okay, let's enter another competition. So we went in with the Mazer's Cup. So it was a good one.
It was the first year that we kind of even started submitting to competitions for the commercial stuff. It was just always kind of a back burner for us, but I think it really is nice to have, this one's got the Valkyrie gold and then the Mazer Cup gold now.
Right.
And so I think we'll probably be submitting some more in the future. It's gone over well. It's nice to justify my customers' palates.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Justin, when you get these medals and these stuff, do you even bother looking at the score sheets to see what the judges said, or do you just take the medal for what it's worth and not look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak?
No, I absolutely pay attention to every word that the judges say. And right, I've judged a number of different things. I've
Sure.
never judged Mazer, but I've judged the Damas Cup that's in
Yes.
Savannah.
Yep.
And so, right, like I hope the amount of effort that I put into the words that I'm saying when I'm critiquing somebody's product that I assume, put a lot of effort in.
Right.
I look at everything that people send to me, and I'm like, okay, what are they picking up when they're trying my product? I also think that communication is critical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the Mazer Cup specifically,
Yeah.
these meads, they're judging warm. So we're doing dry style, and I'm doing carbonated. So everything I'm
Right.
sending in is carbonated. So they're going to be a little angry when they're opened.
Yes.
And so I feel like I'm always at a disadvantage in this particular environment. And I
Gotcha.
think somebody in the mead world needs to figure out that people like to drink this stuff cold. And we should actually serve our judges cold product like we are a beer. And I get it, like not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
But I feel like anytime I win an award, it's a coup, because what I'm doing, I think, doesn't lend itself to score well in a competition like this. And to come out of this thing with 6 medals, I was pumped. Like,
Right.
not gonna lie, like I felt like we won, and we're finally moving this product forward. I live at
Yeah.
Our tap room is in Atlanta, and we're in the city center, and we deal with like mainstream people. And I think mead can be a mainstream product if we tone down the sweetness and we present it as not something that's bizarre and crazy. Like it's a really, really fun consumable product, and I think a lot of meaderies are presented like it's this obscure, weird thing, and it has to be $45, and it's super syrupy. And no, we're doing fun, drinkable stuff.
Right.
And I want to make mead super approachable. Let's make mead mainstream. Let's do it.
Oh, I think that makes a lot of sense with what you said too, with like going and finding some of your like flavor ideas from things that are already a delicious mashup, and taking those and trying to turn them into a mead. And like, there's definitely some business sense behind that, because if you can have a flavor that people are already accustomed to, already familiar with, then you're not introducing them to a whole new flavor. You're just introducing them to mead's version of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the dry carbonated thing, like you said too, like, yeah, that's hard, because like there's nothing that you're supposed to be drinking that's carbonated that you should be drinking warm. Like carbonation is for cold beverages.
Yes, exactly. And I feel
100%.
like we get nailed to the wall when I send in stuff to these competitions. I mean, it says in our bottles, enjoy ice cold in a challenge.
Right.
And so,
enjoy.
Look,
chill.
We are so, the meat industry is so small right now. Like we're minuscule compared to what's going on in beer and wine. And so, it's going to take people like us and winning some awards to push this thing up the hill a little bit further. And so, again, back to the awards.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in the right place, and I'm so pumped that somebody heard, like we're doing it right. That it's been awesome. And by the way, like our customers, they agree. Like they come in and like we have all these amazing reviews. They're like, I didn't even know that mead could taste this good. How can I have a product made from honey that is so delicious and not overwhelmingly sweet? Like, I don't want to pour this on pancakes. I hear it all the time. Anyway.
Well, I'm sure Evan and Nick, I'm sure you guys get the same thing. I mean, you guys would have, I'm sure if you're audience or your customer base there at the meadery was clamoring for, you know, sweet meads, you guys would at least offer one or two, or you know, have something to, you know, to quell the masses, so to speak. But your customer base loves what you guys do because you do it well, and you, again, you listen to people who show up and shop there.
I blame the addiction to, or like people's association with the sweet on Ren fairs.
Right.
Like when they serve the meat at Ren fairs, like I don't know, but like
Everybody's drinking warm
sweet.
what's the one that that they always have at the Ren fairs? The Come on, Carlos, help me out.
Talking about Chaucer's?
There it is. Yeah, warm Chaucers. That's everybody's first, you know, meet at a Ren fair.
Yeah, it's not a good introduction to it, you know, and so it's I think we combat a lot of that stuff and try to drink our product. I was just at a Celtic festival this last weekend down in Tucson, and like so many people come up, just like you guys were saying, so many people come up and they're like, oh no, I don't like meat, I don't like sweet stuff, and I'm like, no, just try it. We had our pomegranate and our traditional down there, so both on the dry end of things. And people were like, oh, wow, like this is actually good. And like, I don't just want to drink 2 ounces of it. Like I had this little 1 cup and now I want like an adult sized beverage. Like, do you carry it in pints?
Exactly. Or, you know, start, hey, can I get a case of that?
We do everything in 16-ounce cans, or we do it in 500 mLs. So basically 17 ounces.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want want you to grab it and be like, hey, here's something for the 25 of us that are hanging out by this campfire. That doesn't do anything for anyone in this business. And we are the official mead for the Georgia Renaissance Festival.
That's right.
Yes.
And we've been doing it for 7 or 8 years. And the best thing in the world, right, is that we are the ones that are introducing people to mead. Yeah. And we got a little bit of shit in the beginning because people are like, it's not sweet enough. And then the owners of the Run Fest were like, well, we're selling 150% what we used to, so keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so
no kidding.
Like people get into it. And so now, I mean, the volume that we go through at this event it's absurd. But it's the right place, it's the right demo, and I think it's the right product because it's consumable. So people want to drink this versus a thimble, and that's what we're all talking about, right? When
absolutely.
Cider, when cider took the sweetness down, that's when we saw cider spike in the United States, right? Like, it used to be super, you know, I can't remember, hardcore cider, right? Like, and Strongbow, all very sweet. Yeah. And then they dialed it back. Come on.
Yeah.
We're at the forefront. We're the cutting edge. Let's do this.
100%. It's good to see that the Ren Fair people were selling 150% over, you know, what they were selling before and locking that in. And don't you guys also work, have a line with your local, was it the Dragon Con?
Yeah. So we do the same thing with them. So this is Dragon Nectar. It got a bronze in this particular competition, but it's passion fruit. It's super sessionable. It's 6%. This is actually an old label.
I got to have one that had edible glitter in it.
Oh yeah. That was so much fun and a huge pain in the ass. So
there was word of trying to do that with our unicorn blood, and I was like, there's no way I'm putting glitter through the bottling machine. Then we'll just be the glitter. Like,
that is not the thing that's crazy about it. Is like, it's the herpes of craft. Is we still find it today in right, like the condensation shit above the cooler. You'll find everywhere. Glitter every once in a while. You'll just find like a pocket of it that just like resurfaces, and you're like, oh my god. So
that's hilarious.
You know, we operate in a brewery.
Yeah.
And so I am a what do you call it, not a guest brewer, like I'm a gypsy brewer, right? So it's all my own licensing. It's my team,
Yeah.
and we're operating inside their environment. And so I presented the whole thing to them, and they were like, "Yeah, we can pull this off." And then after the fact, they're like, "You will never make a glitter product again in this building." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I guess we're not going to do
Fair
it."
enough.
But we have a Cody canning line, which is counter pressure. And so it meant that we could kind of push product through that's a little more angry, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to exploit the shit out of this. And
Yeah.
so we were agitating the liquid. So we're from the very, very bottom of the port to one of the ports that's higher up. We had a recirc pump that was just spinning the liquid nonstop for 2 days while we were making all the Dragon Blaster,
That's
which
what
is
it was,
a
yeah.
riff on the Pangalactic Gargle Blaster. And so we're constantly agitating the liquid as we're pumping it into the canning line.
Yeah.
And the liquid's going in angry as shit, but because it's counter pressure, it was able to actually can it. And I was like, I can't believe this is working, but it did. And so in every single can, we have a very healthy dose of thousands and thousands of dollars of glitter. It's amazing. The whole thing was just a
Wild. Yeah.
numbing, stupid event. And
But
I got
it went over
involved.
good with the con, right?
Oh, the con loved it. Like the owners thought that this was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna break the internet because I thought everybody in the world was gonna be like sending videos of this cool swirling stuff.
No.
It didn't work exactly like that, but
Right.
whatever. We had a
Well,
good time.
and I'm glad you did. And at the Ren Fair and at the con and stuff, and the reason I let you wax about that is because I want to hear what Drinking Horn's opinion is. Are you guys allowed to sell at the Arizona Ren Fair?
They have a distributor agreement with Hensley.
Ain't that the biggest amount of bullshit you ever heard?
It drives me nuts. We're now doing every single Celtic festival in the state, but we can't get the Ren fairs.
Which is,
so it's.
and I know that it sucks. We have 5 or 6 meaderies there in Arizona, and none of them can sell at the Arizona Ren Fair because the Budweiser, basically the cats that own Budweiser, have it locked down.
Yeah, they've got it on lock. We would love to be in there, and I think so would a bunch of other meaderies. I mean, you could get us in there, hitting us all against each other. Like, it would be a pretty awesome mead experience. So they're missing. If they're listening out there, they're missing out. They're missing out on some money.
Well, the people that are really missing out are the customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what is Budweiser serving for a mead? Do they have?
I believe Chaucer's is all they have there.
Yeah, just Chaucer's.
But then does Chaucer's run through the Bud network?
Chaucer's is distributed by Hensley's, their network, but I can't remember who makes Chaucer's. It's somebody here in California, over in the Bay Area.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So unfortunately, they've got that on lockdown. And then another thing that really sucks, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Drinking Horn guys, that we're not allowed to sell alcohol at farmers markets in Arizona. Isn't that correct?
We can sell alcohol at them. We do tasting stuff. It can be a little. It's the licensing is kind of a pain in the ass.
It's not as easy as other states.
Yeah, it's got to be a pretty big farmers market to kind of make it worth it. They like to make you jump through the hoops for paperwork wise, for sure. But you can out here. But it's definitely like, I mean, getting people to drink at 7 or 8 in the morning is not always the easiest task, for sure. I mean, if you don't start early, you can't drink all day. But that line works so much better at a festival on a Saturday than it does at a market on a Sunday.
Oh, I'm sure. And what about you, Carlos? You guys have Ren Fair. You guys are like the capital of Ren Fairs down there in Texas. That's all you guys have is Ren Fairs. Like every weekend's a Ren Fair.
Yeah, you got Scarborough Fair, you got the Ren Fair, and there's like 5 of them in Texas that I'm aware of. But I know Breaking Brew Meadery, this year they got into, I think it was a Scarborough Fair, uh, and I won't say they got the short end of the stick, but they kind of had like, hey, you got 3 weeks to get us this much product, and they're like, oh, I think that was the timeline they had. Um,
Damn.
we had a club day up there, and I was talking to them about it, and they're like, yeah, they said at the beginning, because they had a short turnaround time to get them all the product or whatever. They're like, oh, people were complaining that it had some weird flavors or whatever. But he's like, towards the end of the festival or the fair,
Yeah.
people were raving about it because it had time to age a little bit and kind of settle out, and so towards the end of the fair, it took off really well. So, and then
Nice.
talking about farmers markets like Texas,
Yeah.
as long as you give Texas like a 2 week notice, and the farmers market allows it, you pretty much sell it at almost any
Right.
farmers market.
Yeah, there's
Because
one
I
meadery.
know,
I was
yeah,
going to say the
Fox and
same
Raven,
thing.
they do it every weekend. So
They have two, three, four farmers markets. They basically make their living at farmers markets. So it's
yeah,
crazy the juxtaposition from state to state and region to region, how that all goes down.
yeah.
Um, and then you know what? There's some comments in here. I might have missed some stuff in here. See, Green Mountain Mead said Justin chatted with me on the phone for a good amount of time during the peak pandemic after I ordered a bundle. Such a cool guy and good mead maker. Glad he is in the scene. Well, that was nice of you, Justin.
I mean, call me. I'll chat with you. Come on,
And
Shan,
that's
you know this.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's one of the cool things that I'd have to say about most mead makers out there is they're just really down to earth, cool people that if you want to know what they're doing, there's no exclusivity. If you want help with a recipe or you want to know what they're doing with something, um, just ask. Just like you said, just reach out and ask. Call me. I'm making myself available. And I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying, about this just being an emerging market. A lot of mead makers out there don't have, even the commercial mead makers don't always have the fortune of being the sole, that like mead making is their sole business. A lot of mead makers out there have second and sometimes even third jobs that they run to try to make ends meet and everything because making mead is an expensive hobby until it's a successful business. Oh, that's a
That
good
is true.
question. Yeah, we got question coming in here says, what made you guys want to become mead makers? Let's start with you, Evan. Yeah, why did you want to become a mead maker?
So I was a fish biologist before I started making mead, and
Yes.
when my wife and I got married, I made a bunch of mead for the wedding because of the whole honeymoon thing. You're supposed to have enough
Hmm.
honey the moon cycle, so I was trying to be romantic, and people at the wedding really, really, really enjoyed it. I think part of that was because like when you're making it at home, you're not taxed based on alcohol content like you are as a commercial mead maker. So everything I
Yeah.
was making like 20% or more. Because I would just kind of keep adding things to it until it stopped. I didn't really know what I was doing, but people were coming through the wedding and just really, really enjoying it. And so I was kind of tired of spending 200 plus days a year in the field and wanted a job at home. And so this seemed like something that I could actually do, but I
Yeah.
really did not think it would turn into this. I pictured just myself making mead and wholesaling it out to, a couple of retailers, enough to make what a fish biologist did, which is not hard. So the goal with it, and then you get it in
Yeah.
front of people and people love it, and it's just kind of grabbed a tiger by the tail. I sure did never want to own like a full-on mead hall. Says I like to drink. I wouldn't have to. I don't want to have to kick me out. That's no good. Never thought
Nope.
that would be kind of the direction that it went, but we got on Guy Fieri's show and all that stuff, and it really helped kind of point us in the right direction, and a lot of that was retail.
Nice. What about you, Justin? What are your humble beginnings coming from? What made you want to become a mead maker?
I moved to Georgia in 2000, and when I got here, the highest alcohol beer you could buy was 6%. So I dove into beer making, and then in the back of every beer brewing book, there's a chapter on mead. And so what I like about it is that it's versatile, it's unknown, The world was a very, very different place in 2001, 2002. I worked in distribution, so I worked for a distributor, and I sold a craft beer. I sold Sam Adams and some other things, and I was like, hey, I think there's a huge hole in the market for it, and so I had a passion for the product. I loved the versatility, and I saw an opportunity. I completely like so completely missed how hard it would be from the educational standpoint. Like completely underestimated how hard it was going to be. To this day, like
The
I worked at beer
advocacy
festival.
needed.
I worked at beer festival this past weekend, and how many people that I was like, mead is made from honey, right? Like you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And this is 20 years later. And so like we're so far from mainstream,
Right.
like people don't know what it is. And so
Right.
but I started because I loved the product, and like I do love alcohol, and so like I just think that it's such a fun, amazing thing. There was a comment that I just saw about doing collaborations.
Yeah.
So we did a collaboration. So we're the oldest meadery in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost a brewery in the state of Georgia. And so I think Sweetwater Brewing is now the oldest brewery in the state of Georgia. I could be wrong.
Okay.
So it was kind of fun. We did a collaboration with them. So we did a braggot. We got a bronze medal with Braggot Taggett. It's a fish reference. And
reference. Oh my gosh, you just said that was a reference, right? Braggot Taggett, sell to the butcher at the store.
Yeah. You clearly know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, Reba, great song. Yeah.
Amazing. So, shit, I did this with the head brewer. So now I've known these guys over at Sweetwater for close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's insanity, right? So like I will use like a 1-inch hose. They're using 4-inch hoses. Anyway,
whoa.
They do every 4 hours they're brewing 320 barrels of beer. And I'm like, I make 320 barrels in a year. Like that's like what I do. And I'm like, you're doing that every 4 hours. They're running 24-hour shifts. And then I do a collaboration product with them. That was the most surreal thing I've ever done. Like just seeing their operation, and then like coming in and meeting with the team. They have like a whole production thing going on. I'm like, I'm a guy, like I'm here and I have this and I would like to bring that. And it was amazing. Anyway, so yeah, I think collaborations are huge. It helps, again, introduce the product to the people.
Yep. Like my buddy Judge Mental Hop is saying right here, says, Mead's hit with local fans, but collabs are necessary for recognition industry-wide. And that's kind of a reason why I wanted to have you guys both on together. I know it might kind of seem silly, you know, not everybody gets to have as much talk time, but you guys both make, again, phenomenal dry mead products, which don't get nearly as much love and attention as they should. And, you know, if we can work out some sort of collab between you guys, it comes out of this, you know, I'd love to see, you know, there's plenty of sweet meaderies out there that do collabs with each other. And, you know, I love this Braggot collab, but, you know, I agree with what he said. There needs to be more mead on mead collabs so we can, you know, expose everybody to the greatness of the different dry meads out there.
Mead on mead action.
We love
mead on mead action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Monks Horn. That could go lots of ways. Yeah.
Hey.
Monking horn. wait,
we'll work on that.
Back to the table with that one, but it'll get there.
Yeah.
Send it to the trademark guy. See if we can pull it off.
see if we can pull it off, right? So what is
Are a great way to get, you got to get it out there. And I kind of want to swing back to the newness of the product and how we're a lot of people's first experience with mead, and to tie that with helping each other out and not just collaborating on a product, but collaborating together and giving each other inspiration or maybe ideas and that kind of thing, direct or indirect, I think is important, because you want that first glass or horn of mead in someone's hand to be of the best quality, of the highest, you want it to be a great product, because that could be a do or die, that could be their first, like, one and done, because when they're trying something new, they make up their minds. They might get another chance later down the road, but we really need to make sure that first experience is a good one. I think collaborating, not like I said in the product sense, but like, coming together and helping each other out is a big deal. And it's hard right now because there's not a lot of us out there, and we're all trying to run up some slippery slope to get our own product out there and help out. So I know it's not the easiest thing to help each other out, but whenever we can, I think that's a big thing.
I've always said meaderies, like other meaderies, are not our competition. Like there's a meaderies in Arizona, and more popping up every day almost. And but other meaderies are not any of our competition. Like beer is our competition. They're the ones that have the stranglehold on the market. They're the ones that have the big percentage share. So that's really like our Meads competition is not each other, but beer.
And we all know that IPAs are what?
Oh, they're overrated.
Yeah. I love your brazenness, man. I love it when I see those videos of you like saying that and putting that out there, and the sticker that's on Instagram. Yes. I'm like too scared to do that, and I'm like, oh, nice, hell yeah.
Whoa. Listen. Doesn't mean I don't love an IPA.
True. Yeah.
I'm just saying they're a little overrated, right? Yeah. Like the fact that people just walk in a bar and they just say IPA because it's
the cool like term thing to do.
So it's overrated. And I'll say that to my friends that work at all of the breweries that are in the city and in the state and wherever. We did the Dragon Town parade, and I'm walking around with that stupid cardboard sign that says IPAs are overrated. And by the way, the amount of like fist pumps I got was so encouraging. I was like, hell yeah, these are my people.
Right.
And so, like, come on, no, other meters aren't my competition.
Right.
Breweries aren't my competition. Like, education is my biggest challenge. That's my challenge, right? Like,
advocacy
I want
incompetence.
to know who I am and what I'm doing. Right?
At least we had craft beer to kind of break the way and break the form so that people knew what craft was. Now we just have to teach them what the heck mead is.
Right.
By the way, we probably have to remind them that they like supporting local, right? Like that's a problem.
Oh, that's true.
We're seeing way too many breweries in the city or in Georgia, falling apart, and it's sad. COVID, I think, was the beginning of all of this, and people struggled. And then the other problem is that there's fake craft. So there's breweries that are owned by Anheuser-Busch effectively, or InBev, and people are supporting them, and they think that it's craft, but it's not. And so you're buying something that's owned by a conglomerate versus people that actually are locally owning a product. And so that to me is the hard part, and that'll always be an uphill battle. And
it's true.
I don't know how to fix that one.
No, I don't think anybody of us know how to fix it.
Yeah, just keep educating. I tell people, I'm like, we shake our beekeeper's hand every time we get a batch of honey. The localness isn't just us as a company. I think mead is great in that sense too. Shipping grain is a lot cheaper than shipping honey. So we, even economically, we got to keep it at least somewhat local. But I mean, we love doing it anyway. Yeah. Well, just keep telling people about that local. It's a sad turn of things. when the local wave was kind of going for so good for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it back.
100%. And there's just a lot of there's a lot of people that they still have that preconceived notion of, you know, what mead is supposed to be, or don't, you know, just don't even think. Whoa, shit started going off on the chat. Don't even really consider mead as an option, even if they do know what it is. Again, because of those preconceived notions. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. People are asking, what's the highest mead ABVs you produce? I want to go back to what they were saying. You know, that is one thing that you're saying IPAs aren't all that, or whatever, you know, all that. You know, a lot of people say that that's why they're not going for meads, is because they're, you know, big and heavy and 14% and sweet and everything like that. And that's specifically why Pie and Judgmental and all these guys. That's why I'm having these guys on there, because these guys both make some meads that are easily crushable meads, whether they're still or carbonated. They're not overly sweet. They're not overly, I don't know what the word for it is. They just have that proper chuggable, crushable mouthfeel and things for mead. You know, you can definitely go out there and chug a 14%, you know, something that's sitting at 1180, and, you know, could go, you know, side by side at IHOP. But most of these cats, especially these guys here specifically, don't focus on that. You know, they like to make a nice drinkable product. And then again, when you support these guys, that money goes straight into either Justin or one of his employees. And same thing, Evan, Nick, you know, their place. When you buy from them, that goes right into their employees and back into the local community. These guys aren't big conglomerates like they're saying. These are about as local could get.
We've got 8 amazing employees, so you are supporting us. And to speak to, like, not super boozy, this out of gold medal, it's a pink lemonade mead. It's made with lemons, sorrel, so it's like the flower. The flower gives it the color.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like.
Ooh.
And it's delicious. It's 6.5%. We got a gold medal for it, and I've had 2 so far during this call.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on. Like, it's delicious.
It's chuggable. You might say it's chuggable. I'm one bottle down. Eyeballing the second one.
Eyeballing the second one. I love that. So Carlos, what's your plan for when you're opening? Are you going to have a breadth of stuff across the board as far as styles and different? I think we all want one of those. But you're going to have basically just the gamut of everything, or are you going to try to focus again on one realm of the mead world and kind of just do that the best you can?
Well, initially starting out just because we're gonna open the doors and just trying to get stuff out, quickly to get people in. You know, some of the bigger meads, like some of my bigger meads, it's a minimum of 6 months at least. Like my Malbec Pyment, you know, that one's at least 6 to 8 months, depending on how well the tannins are taken in. Sure. My metal ones, like my Bochet Acer Glens, that are barrel aged, that's a year and a half. So I'm not gonna be able to get those out the door opening out. So opening up, I've already started planning what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna have what I called my ring series. I have a couple Kvike rings that are coming that I'm gonna get those going. So I'm gonna have a bunch of session meads to start out basically, and we're shooting for May of 24 to open. And so that'll be like spring. Well, it's Texas, so early summer. So session meads will be good. So, you know, a couple my lemon drop hop lemon mead, strawberry lemonade.
There you
go. Blueberry. You know, just different not traditional. Well, I will have a traditional session as well, but
it's more run of the mill.
I'm gonna have a lot of session meads. Yeah, your typical session meads, just to get those out. And I'm calling it my ring series because I'm gonna be using Kvike rings to get the fermentation going. And then, of course, as things progress and move along, of course, I'm gonna have my other award-winning meads like my Pyments, my red and white pie mints, my barrel aged projects and stuff like that. So yeah, but
It's
essentially I'm gonna have my sessions and I will have my standard strength ones as well, but those are gonna have to come later on. So
Takes time.
yeah. I always found that to be probably the hardest part is the you're opening the meadery. You can't technically make mead until you've got your license and you're open and you're running. So do you run the risk and try to do something low key and have something when you can open and just kind of, roll those dice, or do you do it the legitimate way and just wait until everything's in, and then like you said, now you got a year and a half before you got one of your meads that you're known for, so to speak, that they're able to come out.
yeah,
That's a tough spot to be in.
yeah,
We put our house up for Hawk to be able to afford to start the meadery. So for us, it was definitely call it in the legal way.
yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Definitely not risking the house on a little bit of mumbo jumbo there. Holy cow! Good for you guys for having again, like I said, if you don't have the confidence to do something like that, you're probably not in it, hard enough to care. And
Yeah.
well, I don't have the huevos to do something like that yet. I am impressed and again applaud you for doing something like that, to have that kind of again courage and
Yeah, like
tenacity.
Calculated.
I'm like for me, like I'm self-funded, so it's my own money. So if I'm
Yeah,
gonna end up doing it the legal way because if I get shut down, I'm out all that money. So uh, I'm gonna do it the right way. But luckily, I have friends in the community around here,
yeah,
the meat community, like Bryce and Savannah with Fox and Raven, that in Texas, my understanding is that we'll be able to have like basically other meaderies, wineries on our tap. So, I'll give Bryce and Savannah a guest
right,
tap, to kind of get them a place because other than that, all they have is a farmers market.
right,
So if they can have a tap somewhere, hey, come get some of this meat over here. And, some different meaderies that I can get in at least until I can get my stuff fully going, and
oh,
give
absolutely,
other meaderies attention as well from because they're
yeah,
all the way out in Carrollton, which takes me an hour to get there, and in Dallas most people don't want to drive an hour because you can pass 6 breweries just to get to one place. So
well, an
you
hour
know
in Dallas time is like 2 hours in real time.
pretty much. So
Dallas
if I can
traffic's
if
on
I can
another
give them
level.
if I can extend their market, once if they get a place up as well, you know,
Yeah,
it's the meat community. Everybody I've talked to is very open, very
yeah,
helpful, like they were saying earlier. So if I can help them extend their reach, and in turn, maybe they can help me out later on when I need some help.
right.
Hey, it's all
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
community. So
Absolutely. Pie Cruiser comes in and says, "Would love to try everybody's meads. Do you all ship to California?" Well, Pie Cruiser, there's a wonderful thing called Vino Shipper that, as meaderies, is offered to them because they're technically wine producers. So you can actually go on. I believe both of you guys are on Vino Shipper. I know Drinking Horn is. I'm pretty sure Monks is on Vino Shipper.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
they are.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go on the Vino Shipper and you can order up as much of their meat as you want, and it would show up right to your door. You got to have someone over 21 to sign for it. It's the only kind of caveat they have with that. Um, but once you get on, like me, once you get on a good rapport with your UPS driver, they usually take a little bit of leeway with that.
We apologize for UPS's prices.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's called, yeah, exactly. Vino Shipper. You spelled it correctly. You go hit up Vino Shipper. There, I think it's the best way is go shopmead.com is their official like shopping portal. But yeah, hit up shopmead.com and you'll be able to visit basically any meadery who's on Vino Shipper. They're all listed there alphabetically, and both of these cats are on there. And yeah, except for you can't ship to Michigan because there are a few states that these guys are unfortunately not allowed to ship to. Not because they don't want to, but because, as he said, laws are draconian and archaic, and for some reason people
Super.
don't want their states to make
Anyway,
money through alcohol.
So we ship to 44 states,
Yeah,
That's a
and
lot.
Vina Shipper is our compliance company.
Yep.
Um, and so, but it's designed to be um, easy for the consumer. So
Yeah.
not a lot of friction there.
Oh yeah,
You
no.
can go to any meadery or winery, and they likely will do it themselves, or they'll use a compliance company to make it work. So
Yeah,
it should be easy to get it. And California
yeah,
is
I don't know,
even easier because
Drew,
like
but we appreciate your order.
they're pro winery.
yeah. Just approve. Yep, order approved. You're done. And that's the good thing about the vino shippers. They take care of all of that stuff for you. So definitely big on those guys. So yeah, anybody out there looking to buy any of these guys' stuff, go hit them up on the vino shipper. Like I said, they'll ship it straight to your door. And this is a perfect time of year to ship it too, because you don't have to worry about, well, most places anyway, you don't have to worry about heat spoiling your package if it ends up, getting stuck in a truck all day on its way to your house, which really sucks when that happens.
Phoenix is good. Phoenix is into 80s now, thankfully.
Oh, yes, there you go, man.
It's like 31 degrees outside right now, but everything's got to go through Phoenix from Flagstaff. So
yeah, every time I tried to schedule things to come up to visit you guys, the weather ended up getting incredibly inclement, and I'm like, I'm not driving in snow. I'm not prepared for that anymore.
No. Snow is about a week out, is what the weather's saying.
Oh yeah, dude, that's 31 degrees. I'm surprised it's not
Flagstaff,
snowing already.
is Flagstaff right by like Four Corners?
No, a little like we're almost 2 hours west of it, and we're at like 7,000 feet. So also when we're talking carbonation, like I've always wondered quite the effect of things too. If they're opening it in Kansas City at 1,200 feet, how much does that carbonation go? And especially if you're opening it warm and we bottle it at 7 at 15 psi, and then it's traveling down to 1,000 foot and then being opened at 70 degrees or 65 degrees, like the math hurts my brain.
It's a bottle bomb you're sending to these people.
Yes,
Right.
Like you're effectively a
gentle
terrorist.
pestilence up here, and then down there it's just like rage.
Rage quit the turn or the competitions.
Yeah, I didn't think that, right. Like we're 3,000 feet. I don't know how 1,000 feet. I have no idea how many feet I'm at, but I'm in the basement of my house. But I have no idea like how that works if you're packaging at higher elevation and sending it to lower.
Yeah.
It does sound like you could be shipping some crazy stuff.
I don't know. Coors does it pretty well. I mean, doesn't Coors made up in the Rocky Mountains? That's pretty fucking high, and then they ship it all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
theoretically.
Really
which direction it works. And I've done a fair amount of testing. I spent a lot of money doing a lot of testing, driving mead over to the ocean and drinking it by the just to kind of measure information. And so far it's not the huge change that I would have like expected to see out of it. I think temperature is more of a factor in it than like the elevation, because also when we're bottling at 15 psi, it's in like a sealed. It's sealed essentially. It's a back pressure machine, and so it's filled with a closed system. So it should be okay. Should be okay.
Yeah, no big complaints.
All right.
None yet. Yeah, we've been shipping. None yet. Drink that mead chill.
Yes. And please, if the bottle says drink it chilled, at least try it chilled before you start going off all AWOL and just doing whatever you need to do. Just try it chilled. It's probably meant to be that way on purpose.
Isn't that another great thing? Mead is I think more not variable, but more versatile. Thank you. Different V word. More versatile than any other of the beverages, just not only in styles, in like carbonated or not carbonated, but also like this metheglin is so good heated up on the stove. Not so much to get rid of the alcohol, do something like that, something crazy like that, but like mead, some of our meads are so delicious, like warm, in hot combos with tea, tea and mead, tea and honey, who would have thought? So I don't know why my brain went there, but just one of the, talking about enjoying it chilled. Yeah, these are all delicious chilled. But I really like to tell people about, especially this time of year, like metheglin, our apple mead. We've got a pear mead with cinnamon and nutmeg.
Yeah.
Put that on the stove. maybe throw in a little shot of bourbon. I don't know, and have yourself a good fireside, relax time.
Absolutely. That I don't think I could have put it any better myself. Just
Yeah, all right.
I just lost him. He's gone. He's headed to the microwave.
he's into the ether now. He's into the internet ether. Well, Carlos, did you have any final questions you wanted to ask of any of these gentlemen here?
Ooh, gentlemen. Ooh.
Loosely.
Well, I guess my only question is, if there was one thing you really want to do with in mead sense, what would it be?
Can you expand
The
on
world.
that a little bit? What do you mean?
Well,
If you wanted,
I know some of them do collaborations to make braggots and stuff like that, but is there like a specific mead that you wish you can do or have that, like for me, I'll go ahead and start.
Yeah.
One mead that I really want to like try to perfect, and just because I've yet to have one that tastes good, is a watermelon mead.
Okay.
Ah,
The elusive
It's all.
watermelon mead.
So I think that on a general like business level, I think something that I really want for like us as a company to get into is the session meads, because we're not big. We don't have anything in cans. I mean, we have kegs and we have bottles, both of which are hard to backpack.
Yes.
So like we would like stuff into some cans, because I think like session meads, like you guys were saying earlier, just in getting people accustomed to it. I think session meads is the most beautiful bridge there could possibly be. Outside of that, like I would love to do a little more bouchets, just on like the creative level of it.
I love
I
that
think
shit.
there's an art to caramelizing your honey that I think is delicate and pretty hard to nail. As
Yep.
in sense of like a few degrees one way or the other, and you kind of botch it.
Yep.
Botch the so that's something just on a personal creative level. More bouchets, and as a business level, we need stuff in cans. We need it in cans.
Yeah, I love a good bochet, and I've made a lot of people upset because I've bocheted almost every type of honey I've gotten. I've bocheted Tupelo honey, and people were furious with me. Like, why would you do that? And I'm like, well, because it's my honey. I do what I want. But I've bocheted Tupelo, meadow foam, avocado, orange blossom, guajillo, mesquite,
Yeah.
blueberry, like almost every type of honey I've gotten, I've bocheted, and most of the awards I won have all been for some sort of bochet. So,
Nice. I love that.
We'll be talking to you then.
Yeah,
oh heck,
Definitely.
I'm here.
you've got that. You've got the caramelization magic.
Oh,
Yes.
I got it. I've got it down to where I have it to within a degree of where I want, and I keep it there. And I know how much time, even for different. All right, we want more caramel notes. We want more vanilla notes. All right, let's keep the temperature here for this long, then bump it to here for this long. I got it.
Love it. I'm a scientist at heart. I love my numbers.
Oh yeah.
And what about you, Justin?
as far as what do I want to do in this business, man, I'm having a great time, and I'd like to make more money and work less hours. Those are the things I would like to do. Aha.
I'm on day over 23 without a day off, so I feel you. I feel you.
Mm.
Oh my God. I don't know that I've had a day off ever. But I'm telling you what, I love it, because the customers come in the door and they're so appreciative, and 70% of our business is new customers, right? Like they've never talked to us before, right? And so we get such great feedback, and I feel like we're turning people on to this new category. And man, if I could work a little bit less and spend more time on life and make a few extra dollars, like, this would be the dream. So I'm super close.
Yeah.
We're close. But I'll tell you what, I mean, every one of us that's on this right now, we're all working towards the same goal. Like we're educating the world, and I appreciate what you all are doing. And
I appreciate what everybody on
I
here
need
is
to get
doing.
myself out to Flagstaff, which is apparently how far from Four Corners? How far from Phoenix?
About 2 hours.
Okay. My wife has a friend in Phoenix.
Oh,
nice.
So we're gonna have to go out there at some point. I'm coming.
Nice.
Coming.
We're right next. We'll grab some mead and catch one of the most beautiful sunsets you'll ever see.
I cannot wait.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I think the industry is really grown, and I'm excited to see what's happening.
yeah, awesome.
In May, we're going to get another king on the throne, right?
Hopefully.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Nice.
fingers crossed that all goes through.
Yeah.
I got a couple more. Go ahead, Carlos. I'm sorry.
Like I said, it's a metal building, and they started yesterday, and 36 hours, and on my Instagram post I posted earlier today, within 36 hours, they pretty much had the whole frame and 3 walls up. So I'm hoping I'm going to go back out there tomorrow, and I think the roof should be on and everything should be buttoned up by the end of the week. So
nice. Wow. Exciting times, man. Exciting times.
It's been several years in the making. I'm excited. I've had a lot of people like, "Dude, you need to go commercial." And when I first started making meat, going commercial never even the thought never crossed my mind. And so many people were like, "You need to do it. You need to do it. You need to do it." And finally, retired. And my wife's like, "You need something to do." And so I was like, "All right, I'll open my own meadery then." Everyone's been asking me to do it, so she's like, "All right, bye, have fun."
There it is. Nice. And I've got one last question that came in here if everybody's got a couple more minutes.
Absolutely.
All right, it says Misty Mountain Meadery says, what advice would you give to a home brewer who would like to start would like to open a meadery but not for a few years? What would you think would be their next step as an amateur mead maker, or from amateur mead maker to go to commercial?
Go for it.
I was going to say, I think a few years out might be a bit hard to predict as everything's changing so rapidly. I mean, if you think just like 2 years ago during COVID, there was all sorts of money flowing around and people were buying mead left and right like it was going out of style. Now it's a little bit different of a situation. People be a little more buttoned up and tighter with their wallets a little bit. So, I think 5 years might be a little bit hard to predict, but I'm definitely interested to hear what y'all have to say. Justin?
Well, I mean, put your money where your heart is. And that I think is the biggest difference between me and a lot of the home brewers, right? Like the difference is they make 5 gallons at a time and we make 500 or 2,000 gallons at a time.
Right.
And so there's different equipment costs, right? Like we have a amazing filtration program, like to make sure that everything's sterile and filtered. Just believe in your heart and shoot for it. That's what I'm doing.
There you go. What about you, Evan?
I'd say look into the feasibility, look into marketing in a lot of directions, right? Like if you're in a smaller town, opening a meadery is going to be a much more difficult situation than opening it somewhere where you're just going to have apparently more customer base because it's a larger population city. Look into the laws of what you're trying to do too. So like the zoning commission is a huge one that you can see everybody on here nodding. Look into your zoning laws and figure out what do they want to classify you as, because nobody is entirely sure where to put us. The fire department came by when we were opening up and gave us the same warning tags on the building that you would have for a distillery. We are not nearly as explosive as a distillery.
Right.
zoning stuff called for because of where we are and what we're doing and blah 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 blah. So look into the paperwork on it and kind of see, like, you might have a few options around you of where to go about opening production or where to go about opening your tasting room. A lot of states will let you separate those two things pretty easily with a little bit of paperwork.
Yep.
So you don't have to have them in the same spot. So you can choose a cheap spot for production and choose a little more spendy spot with the walk-through traffic for your retail action.
Yep.
Just that end of things, do your research, do your homework, do your paperwork, and learn as much about your local laws as you can, because I have never understood the difference in state laws until dealing with alcohol and trying to get it into other states.
Yeah.
So it's it's got its whole litany of things that are wrong with it, but
Yeah.
I would say is as well as like put your heart into it. Absolutely. It's if you don't give it your all, you probably won't get it back.
100%. Carlos? As somebody's going through it currently?
Yeah. For me, my biggest recommendation for people who are trying to go from home brewing to try to go commercially, and I'm not saying my way is the way, but it's helped me a lot. I can definitely say for sure it's helped me a lot. One is networking. Like somehow I managed to get hooked up with TK, and we've had several interviews, and so getting the name out there. I've started my podcast, The Great Hall, which I need to get back onto. I've interviewed White Bear Meadery, which I need to finish editing that one. I've interviewed Drinking Horn. I've interviewed Williamson Meadery. So just trying to get your name out there a little bit. And I also did that by going and getting my mead judge certification. One, because you're going to go judge mead competitions. You're going to meet other phenomenal mead makers. You're going to meet other commercial mead makers that you can, rub elbows with and, talk with. Hey, what advice would you give? And you're going to get advice from everybody, and everything's going to be a little bit different based on where you're at. And, like they said, learn your local laws, because when I'm looking for my place, literally 5 minutes up the road, I was like, this would be a perfect spot. It's up and coming. Okay, yeah. In order to open there, 40% has to be non-alcohol sales.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that.
That's a lot. Yeah, ain't nobody ready for that.
And so, especially starting out, now I got to base my sales 40% non-alcohol, which means I have to, open a kitchen, and so that's a whole nother issue
Food
you'd have to run into.
Handlers and all sorts of, no.
And so for me, I ended up finding a space that's in the county, but in the city. There's like a little strip of road that is considered county that the city hasn't annexed yet, so I fall into the county zoning. They're like, do whatever you want. Sweet, let's do it. So zoning, and start talking to your city council, the county officials, and start figuring out what you need to do. But to go from amateur to pro, like I said, just get out. I started going to Texas Mead Fest, going to different mead competitions, judging those competitions, and you start getting your name out there. And I've grown a following by doing that, and so now I think going commercial, and a lot of people have had my meads and are like, this is really good, you need to do it, and you get feedback from the meads you've entered. But it's I think to go from amateur to commercial, that's a good way to go about it. Not the way to go about it, but it's a good way to go about it.
I think all three of you hit it on the right on the head. If you don't have the passion, like I was saying, if you're not willing to put your house up on the block, if you're not willing to to put in 23 plus days in a row, if you're not willing to learn the laws, go out there and network and hobnob and do what it takes, maybe it's not for you, because those are all things that, whether you like it or not, you're gonna have to do if you want to be a successful meadery, a successful business in general, but especially if you want to be a successful meadery. Well, I appreciate everybody's time tonight. I know it is getting late, especially for Justin over there in Atlanta, well after 10 o'clock. So I thank you guys all for joining me tonight. Carlos, do you mind sticking around for a couple more minutes?
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much at Drinking Horn and over there at Monks Mead. You guys are phenomenal. And like I said, anybody who's not following these guys already, please go give them a follow and give them a like and hit them up on the Vino shippers because you can try some phenomenal products and I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
Yep. Cool. Thanks so much, TK, and congratulations, Justin and the Monks crew for your hardware. And good luck, Carlos,
Yes.
and everything. And yeah, it was fun.
Right on, guys. Have a
Appreciate
great
it.
night.
Guys.
Congrats to all of y'all. Cheers.
Oh, much love, much love.
Much
Yeah.
love for
Yes.
Mo Mead.
I will
Oh,
see
better.
you before too long.
Yes.
I travel. I'm coming.
Nice.
Can't stop me.
Yes.
Come on.
right.
Don't forget the mead.
All right. Uh-oh. Drinking Horn. It's not letting me remove you guys.
It shows I'm gone on mine.
Oh, okay. There it goes. Now it shows I'm going on mine. All right. Well, that was an awesome chat. I always love talking to people, especially super knowledgeable people who are way smarter about the industry than I am. So, yeah, I'm dying to see where you guys at Texas Longhouse Meadery end up falling in this whole category of things. It's gonna be dry, semi-sweet, sweet. I know you're gonna do a variety of things because that's just your style. But I'm super excited to have Texas Longhouse Meadery be amongst the commercial ranks finally.
Yeah, it's been a work in progress for probably about 2 years that I've finally put pen to paper and started writing everything out of what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
finally, start talking to everybody about what I needed to do and
Yep.
building my community, and it's just seeing it finally come around. Like my garage,
Yeah.
like I had to give up my meat room, because we ended up having our sixth child, and so she needed her
Yeah.
own room, so I had to take my meat room down. But
Those were sad
you know,
pictures watching that come apart. I was like, I've been in
man,
that
it was
room.
it was rough, but it needed to happen. But like right now, you've seen my garage, how big
Yeah.
that
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh yeah.
From the door to the garage is literally about $70,000 worth of equipment just waiting to get moved into the meadery.
Yeah.
So it's, when I picked up all the equipment, I was like, oh, it's finally starting to happen.
Yeah.
Just waiting on the building. And now just going out there today and seeing that the walls are up, the drain is in,
Yeah.
now once the roof gets put on and the electrical gets hooked up, it's
On.
it's on.
So how far are you along in the actual licensing process? I mean, because you can't submit anything to because you have a location now. You can submit to the TTB.
So we're waiting. The building's got to get finished out for the fire marshal to get the address for it.
Oh,
Because then once we have the address, because that's the big holdup right now is it doesn't have it has an address, but it doesn't have the actual address.
right.
So because there's 3 buildings that are on that property, and
Yeah.
so there's 2 other businesses that are going in as well, and so each one, of course, it's going to be building A, building B, and building C. Well, we know it's going to be A, B, and C, but we just have to wait for the fire marshal to be like, all right, that's building A, that's building B, that's building C.
Gotcha.
And so once we have that, then we'll actually sign the lease with the property owner.
Mm-hmm.
And the building owner is a fantastic guy. He helped his company remodeled my house.
Oh, okay.
And he just happened one of the other guys that works for him happens to live in my neighborhood. He's like, oh yeah, he just bought some property that he's putting buildings on, is looking for people. And I'm like, oh, let's have a conversation, because trying to find a building, a commercial building, has been the hardest thing ever. And I didn't, talking to Fox and Raven, they're like, it's gonna be hard. I don't think you understand what you're in for. And I'm like, oh yeah. There's a lot of commercial buildings. I've been looking at them. They're open. I've driven by them all the time. Until you actually get in there and start talking to them, and all right, this is what I need to do, and you start getting rejected. Nope, you can't do that in this building. It's like, well, damn. Go to the next building. Can't do that in this building. Well, damn. So when he's like, yeah, what do you need? And I told him what I was looking for. He's like, I'll build a building for you. I was like, well, this is what I need. He's like, lay out everything you need. Tell me what you want, where everything has to be, and I'll build it for you. I was like, really? He's like, and so the only thing he asked for is, of course, rent. was just a 3-year commitment.
Wow.
So so
That's
3
not bad
years.
at all. I mean, you want to be around for more than 3 years, I'm assuming, so that's pretty easy.
Yeah, like my ultimate dream is to have a actual Viking longhouse replica built. There's
Yeah.
a company out of Norway that does it the traditional, the way they were originally built back in during the Viking era,
Yeah.
from what they understand of how they were built, and it takes them 6 months to build it. And so, if the meadery takes off and the profits are good and the profit margin allows me to do it, I'm going to
Yeah.
have them build me an actual Viking replica longhouse. So
How big are we talking here?
at that point, I
I mean,
think in 3 years, if I get to that point that the business is like, if the business just maintains itself, I'd be happy because
sure.
I'm at this point in time in my life. I'm 30. I'll be 39. I'm retired.
Right.
Between the military and my wife being retired from the military as well, like we
Yeah.
don't have to work. This is literally something for me to do to
A passion
do something.
to pass the time and to not go
I
crazy.
once I got hooked on mead, it was game over. I've gone off the
Yeah.
deep end with mead. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about, something I love doing, something, I'll talk to random people on the street about mead.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if the meadery just maintains itself, just enough to keep making new products, I'm happy and I'll stay where I'll be at. But if the profits are good, knock on wood, if the
Yeah.
profits are good, that I'll be able to build my own place, and that's the
Yeah.
ultimate goal. So
No, I'm sorry. I'm just confused by the term you say longhouse replica. So I'm thinking like I'm trying to figure out, is it like a scale model replica to like have on display, or like a full size building that's a replica of, like, we're talking like 100 feet by several hundred feet here, or
well, I don't know if it would be several hundred
I
feet by
mean like
several
several
hundred feet.
hundred square feet. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
like have a full on, like
Or I guess,
something to compare uh to like medieval times, how
yeah.
they have their whole little arena, but have like a whole
Everything. The fire pit in
everything
the
in there.
middle going out the top with the
Yeah,
dude. I'm here for
that would be
it.
awesome.
That would be awesome. And you could change your name to just the Longhouse Meadery.
Well, I can't do that because there's already somebody with longhouse metering.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Texas Longhouse Meadery sounds better anyway. So
And
um,
yeah, it's
I mean, because you're
everything's
in
bigger in
Texas,
Texas.
things bigger in Texas. That is true, my man. So you're
So
getting ready to open come up May, and you're basically just everything you can do, chomp to the bit to get all that stuff done as quick as possible. Let's get the building up. Let's get the address in. Let's get off to the fire marshal. Let's get the license going. Let's start going. So there was a question a
yeah,
while back about your lemon hopped mead. I don't remember quite how far back. From Steven says, is your lemon drop hop going to be on your tap at your opening?
that's the plan. So there's my plan, and the biggest thing is trying to get it through the TTB because my understanding is kind of limited on how much hops you can use per
Hmm.
so much liters. Um,
Oh,
but if you go above that, you can do it. It just gets classified, I think, as OTSW, other than standard wine,
okay.
which is fine because it's basically how I built my mead recipe for it.
Hmm.
But that is the plan, is to have that on tap. So it'd be the lemon drop hopped lemon mead,
Yeah.
uh, strawberry, blueberry, my peach, and a traditional. So that's at least 5 session meads that I'm planning on opening with.
Yeah.
So
And then are you
until we get everything else going.
gonna bring back a commercial version of the avocado blossom Melback?
Oh yes, 100%. Tears Vindru will be one of the options, and I also have Freya's Vindru that is a vignette with tropical blossom. That's that
Ooh, from Sean
that's
Darrell
just one of the.
Harris.
No, this one
Oh,
actually I think came from ATS.
okay.
They
Nice.
have a really good honey selection as well.
Oh yeah, Sean's not the only
Love,
guy in Hawaii.
yeah. And then of course, Tears been through the Chilean Malbec with avocado blossom,
Yeah,
and that one is
delicious.
it's won its own awards. So that one is one that I've also been known for people who've had
Yeah.
it. You know, so that
In the
one will
right
be there.
circles. Yeah, in certain circles, that mead is quite sought after,
Yes.
especially that
So
B2.
and that one is like I've given it to people who told me that they absolutely hate avocado blossom honey,
Oh,
and
okay.
and ended up scoring it in the 40s. They're like, "This is fantastic," and so I was able to change a couple people's minds on it. So yeah,
The old Maury Povich thing. You said you hate avocado blossom, but your 42 score determined that was a lie.
yeah, pretty much. So, but
No kidding.
yeah,
Right on, man. Well, I just want to spend a little extra time talking to you because feel like I don't get to do that nearly enough. And I know you got some big stuff coming up in your world. So when it gets a little closer, we'll chat again, and we'll keep chatting along the way and keep people updated because this is probably one of the most exciting meadery adventures that I'm ready for.
yeah. There's a lot of people that are super excited for it. There's people in my neighborhood that didn't even know I did it. And like during Halloween, I normally bring a keg out or some bottles out, and we'll pour for the
Yeah.
adults as they're taking their kids around. And people this year because everything had to get taken down from the mead room.
Hmm.
I didn't put anything out, and there were so many people. They're like, "Oh, we were told that we had to come by here to get some of your wine." I'm
Hmm.
like, "Well, it's mead. It's honey wine." You know, explaining to them what it is and
Yeah.
how it's made, and they're like, "Well, they told us we had to stop by here and try it." And then other
Whatever
people
you
who
got, we were
haven't,
supposed to try it.
yeah, and other people who've been there before, like, "Hey, we came back. You know, you have any out this year?" I'm like, "Unfortunately, no. Everything's packed up because everything's going commercial."
Yeah.
So
That,
there was a lot of people that were rather upset this Halloween.
no kidding. Yeah, I'm trying to turn into a professional commercial real business. I want to be a real boy, so I can't give you my all my stuff that's packed away.
Yeah.
That
So,
does suck.
but
Well,
there's,
hopefully
yeah,
things can continue to go smooth for you.
I, I hope so. Like I know I'm planning on a couple of hiccups
Yeah.
just because working with the government, there's always going to be something that pops up. So,
Yeah.
working for the government my whole life, I'm anticipating it just to reduce my stress level. So, we'll get
I'm
there.
expecting the government to do what the government does the best, and that's bumble things up and delay things and
Yeah.
make make a mess out of something that should be relatively simple.
So, but we'll
Yeah.
get there. Like, a lot of people, thank you for following today. Um, Hey, yeah, I'll be out at Valhalla this next, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Yeah, in about like 10 days or so.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
at Valhalla meeting of life. How
Yes.
can you be a Viking longhouse and not go to Valhalla?
Ex- Hey, it's kind of built in. You're kind of obligated there, my man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I've gotten
I'm
several emails. Hey, come judge. All right, fine, I'll come judge.
all right. I'll come judge up at Valhalla. Yeah, dude, I am so envious of everybody's getting to go judge it. Everybody that was just at Mazer Cup and now going to Valhalla, and Valkyrie's Horn's coming up in February again. Like, I need to get out there, but I
Yeah, I
do
want.
my best.
I've been wanting to go to Valkyrie's Horn. I went up there to take my tasting exam for my
Yeah.
mead judge, but I didn't get to judge. I literally flew up, and I was seat number
Oh,
7 for them to actually have the tasting, and I flew out the morning after. So
yeah.
I didn't get to judge that one, um, and unfortunately, I'm going to miss it again in February because I'm already committing myself to judging Blue Bonnet Brew Off for
Oh,
their meads. So.
hey, man. It's a busy life for a meat judge out there.
Yeah, it's far and few in between, and we're just
Yeah.
spread out everywhere, and trying to get them all to come to one place is hard. So, anytime I can judge somewhere close that needs it, I'll make my way there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in that same boat. So, all right, man. I know it's getting late for you two there as well in Texas. I'm gonna let you get off to your thing. I'm gonna go get on with my dinner and stuff for the evening. But thank you always, Carlos. Appreciate you so much. And I will see all you guys in the next episode when we're speaking with, I don't know who yet, but we'll find out next time. Have a good one, brother.
Have a good one. Drink with honor.
Yes. All right, everybody. Like I said, have a good night, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace.